welcome to another lesson from the virtual class. And we are here with the lesson of biology class 6. In our previous two lessons, we discussed about deforestation, effects of deforestation, and how the deforestation happens. In this lesson, we are going to talk about solutions for the deforestation. So at the end of the lesson, inshallah, you will be able to know how we can reduce the deforestation. Because if you remember the previous lesson, and in case if you missed the previous lesson on the same channel, you can go back and you can watch the video on the topic impacts of deforestation. So at the end of this lesson, inshallah, you will be able to know how we can reduce the deforestation, and of course when the deforestation will reduce, the negative impacts of deforestation will also reduce. So let's start. There are different solutions that are possible to reduce the deforestation. Among them, the very first solution is corporations can play a role to reduce the deforestation. They can do a lot of things to reduce it. Governments can help in decreasing the deforestation, and individuals can play a very important role to decrease the deforestation. Like if the corporation in many cases the corporations actually are the reason behind different deforestations. So in the same way, they can also help in reducing the deforestation. If a corporation have the ability to destroy the world rainforest, they also have the power to help and save them. Governments can make the laws to stop deforestation. In the coming slides, about every possible solution that corporations can offer, governments can offer, and even individuals can offer, we will discuss inshallah. Here, as individual, we can contribute significantly to deforestation with our lifestyle. Like we study different ways in which the individuals actually are doing deforestation. So this is also the responsibility of the individual to keep the environment safe and clean. So that cannot be done even if the governments make the rules or corporation try to reduce the deforestation. But unless the individuals will not support or individuals will not help, so it is not possible to reduce the deforestation. Now let's see how the corporations can implement anti-deforestation policies in their company. They can introduce that uh, the stakeholders that are operating on their basis. Corporation can implement anti-deforestation policies that require suppliers and other stakeholders to operate in ways that do not harm the environment. And right now, many companies in the world are working with a policy. They stop working with the companies which are actually involved in certain issues, like in even on certain products, it is clearly mentioned that we are not harming any plants or animals for the preparation of this product. So in that way, corporations can implement anti-deforestation policies. So like in this competition period, in this competition era, the other corporations will also follow. So of course the deforestation can be stopped. Also, corporations can minimize the paper wastage and encourage the recycling. As you know, the paper is obtained at a large scale from plants. So once the corporation will decide that we have to reduce the usage of paper, the wastage of the paper, so and also if they encourage the recycling of the paper, that can help to reduce the deforestation, because corporations are the huge consumers of the paper, and management can work towards a paper-free office by shifting toward the email and soft copies, and also encourage their employers to recycle. So of course, when the use of the paper will reduce, then the deforestation will also reduce. Now, if we talk about the responsibility of the governments, so governments can also reduce deforestation by reforestations. The cutting down of trees can be countered by replacing the old ones. Deforestation mean we replace if somehow if a plant is removed. So in its place there should must be a new plant there. So trees can be planted every year, and even in many parts of the world, the governments are actually organizing reforestation day in almost 2 to 3 times in a year. So the new plants are planted, and also governments can support organizations that push for anti-deforestation. Governments have the resources to allow the anti-deforestation organization to get their message across and increase their sphere of influence. Also, government can announce some special reward for the organizations and corporations who are following strictly the anti-deforestation rules. So governments can actually play a lot of role regarding that one. The third one, the main part that can be played by the individuals. Both the previous one are actually linked to the individual. If individuals have the mind to stop the deforestation, then of course organizations and governments are made by the individuals. So definitely then it will take to a strict policy against the deforestation. So individuals can recycle the products. They they should prefer to use the recycled products as well. Everybody, even children, can be conscious of the need to the recycle. Instead of throwing the paper away, we can always seek to recycle it or use it for the other purposes. There are many different ways to recycle. We have 2, 3 lessons on recycling, how we can do recycling, how recycling can help. So that we will discuss there, inshallah. Secondly, use of the recycled products. If as an individual we will start applying the policy of using the recycled products. It can also help us in many ways. Not only it will save the plants, it can also help the environment. It will reduce the pollution as well. Many environmental problems can be solved by preferring to use the recycled products. Also, paperless work, individuals can go for the paperless work. Using the paperless work, of course, the use of paper will reduce, and if the use of paper will reduce, definitely it will take to uh, the reduce deforestation, and also about being the conscious of the food choices, because cattle grazing is one of the primary cause of the deforestation. So if we limit the consumption of the fast food meat and always choose to buy locally, knowing where your food comes from, so it will also help to combat deforestation. Individuals can, if individuals will use the renewable energy, so it can also help to reduce the deforestation. Like in some places, especially in the developing countries, wood is used as a fuel. So if there will be the renewable energy resources, like here, in the side in the picture you can see one renewable energy resource is shown where wind is being used to generate the electricity, and then electricity can be used to do different tasks. So of course deforestation will be reduced. And the next is to educate others of the need to fight the deforestation. Education is very important. If the people will know about the benefits of plants and trees, definitely this education will let them stop deforestation. they will not cut the plants and trees. So education can play a very important role. So we can conclude from that deforestation actually, look at this picture, you can say the conclusion is very clear. If we will do more plantation, if we will not cut the plants, definitely it will help to save many birds, many animals, and ultimately we will save the environment. Cutting the trees and plants will disturb the whole environment. That's we have in today's lesson. Thank you very much. See you in the next lesson.